Hi, I'm Spencer from Icon Music, and I'm here with Simon Aiton from Roland Australia, and we're talking about the Roland V drums. Simon, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
That's good. Tell me a bit about the kit you're playing today.
So this is the TD11KV kit. There's two versions of this kit. There's the K, which has the rubber toms, the PD8 pads, and this version, which has the full mesh pads.
And what's the advantage of the mesh head?
Well, the most important thing is because it's actually a skin that's stretched on a drum, it feels like a skin that's stretched on a drum, meaning that if you play near the edge, it's tighter and it's looser in the center, which is what drummers prefer because it feels like an acoustic drum head. So if you had a rubber pad, it's the same tension over the whole surface. So there's no benefit of it being any particular size. So that's why, that's what makes V-drums so popular, is the fact that they are a mesh head. They're very quiet. If with the sound turned off here, they're pretty much absolutely silent for practicing. And obviously you've got heaps of great sounds in the sound module that you can trigger, and they're independent of the heads, meaning I can adjust the tension of these tighter or looser to suit my playing style, and I can change the tuning and the muffling of the drum sounds in here separately. So I can have a really loose snare to play, but sound-wise it will be tuned up inside the module. So I might want a Stuart Copeland sound, but I don't like playing such a tight snare, so I might want like a loose AC/DC type snare sound. So that's how I can adjust them independently of each other. That's a big advantage.
What are some of the other features of the brain?
So yeah, this is the sound engine here. This is the heart and soul of any electronic drum kit. And in this case, we have the black brain, which is the TD11 module. There's hundreds of sounds in there. I can tune them up and down in pitch. For example, I can take a snare drum sound, and in the menu here, I can go through and edit the sound to my liking. So I've got lots of different ways of editing the sound. I can adjust tuning, pitch up and down. I can change the muffling of a bass drum or a snare independently, so I can find the sweet spot. So it's a very powerful module. Also, I have recording. So in the recording mode here, if I just exit out to go back to the main page, I can hit record and just play something. Play that back. So if I'm practicing a groove, for example, I can just put this into record. Play that back. So another really useful way of using that is a sound check tool. So if you're in a rehearsal room and you've got horrible sound or people complaining that they can't hear the drums, just record yourself playing and then go and stand over where they are in the room or on stage, and you can hear what they're hearing. So it gives you a better idea of how loud you need to be, how you might want to change your sounds or your tuning to suit the room that you're playing in. So it's a cool thing. Most drummers haven't actually experienced what they sound like out the front of a sound system. So with this, instead of having to get your mate, the guitarist, on board to play something for you, you just record the sound check and then listen out the front of house. So it's a great way of getting the sound perfect before you start your gig, so you know exactly how you're projecting your sound into the room. So that's just one of the many features of V-drums.
And at the beginning there, you were playing along with a guitarist?
Yes.
Where is that coming from?
Well, on the back of here, I've got two USB ports. One of them is for direct recording into a computer. So this can record MIDI and audio directly into a Mac or a PC via the computer USB port. But the other port can be used for saving my settings. So I could create custom kit setups, and they could be the different tunings, muffling, volume levels, or even the amount of reverb. I can save all those things onto the USB stick, but I can also use the USB stick to play back audio. So there are songs built in here that I can play along with, but what I like to do when I'm practicing is bring in my own music onto USB. So I can grab any tracks from iTunes as a WAV file or an MP3 onto a USB stick, standard USB stick, plug it into the back of the module, and then it comes up in my song list. So that was actually a track that I did with the Fender guitar guy, James Ryan. So he did a track and sent it to me without drums so I could work out what I was going to play. And then we've done a track that's basically 2 minutes long without the drums. And it's awesome for me because there's no drums on it. So every time I play it, I can play something a bit different. I can choose a different kit depending on what mood I'm in. I can play it half-time, double time, whatever. And it's a great way of experimenting around with how I actually want to play the track and, learning at the same time some new tricks or some new ways of playing the song. So it's great fun. It's really easy. It's a single button push and off you go.
That's great. Any other features on the kit?
Yeah, so down here I have a single bass drum pedal, and I'm just using the Roland pedal that comes with our DAP 3X pack, which is basically pedal, stool, and sticks. That's the standard single pedal that comes with it, but I can add an extra kick drum trigger to this kit. I can either do it by adding a double bass drum pedal, and that will fit onto our KD9 trigger down there on the floor, or I can actually physically attach another bass drum trigger. So I could buy another one of those KD9 triggers, put it on my kit, plug it into the trigger input on the side of the module, and I've got then 2 bass drums that I can tune separately. So that's a really cool thing, because you might want to have different pitch on each of your bass drums, or have one set as a cowbell sound and the other one as a bass drum, or whatever. Basically, you can expand the kit, sort of like Lego, so expandable.
So how many more inputs can you add to the
So
kit?
with the TD11, you can add an extra trigger of any sort. On the next kit up, which is the 15, you can add 2 triggers. And then when you go up to our top of the range kit, you've got 4 extra triggers. So, but as standard, the kit comes with basically a loom that you connect all your pads to, and you can use this module as a standalone module as well. You can buy it as part of the kit, TD11K or the KV kit, but a lot of people are also buying the module on its own with the cable loom to use with their acoustic kit. So you can attach it using our acoustic triggers to your acoustic kit, and then basically allows you to electrify your acoustic drums on stage. So it becomes like live sound reinforcement for your drums. So just like a guitarist would, mic up their guitar amp, put it out the front, or use a pedal board, the drummers are doing the same thing with their acoustic drums. It's nothing new. People have been doing it for a long, long time. So it's an interesting way of using the module, and it's very effective because you get lots of trigger inputs when you do that. So, yeah.
When we came in before the video, I noticed you've got a couple of orange blocks there on the floor.
Yes.
What are they?
So they're called V-blocks, simply, and they're a Velcro on one side block, and they stick like glue to the floor, and they work on small pile carpet.
Yeah.
You put them in front of your bass drum or your hi-hat, and it stops them from moving. It's like carrying a sandbag, but fraction of the weight. And yeah, they work really well. You can use them for acoustic drums as well. You just put them in front of the feet on a normal mat, normal sort of small pile carpet, and they work beautifully. So you can play like a maniac, and your bass drum doesn't slide around, because that's the worst thing when your bass drum's sliding during a gig. So
that's great. Thank you, Simon. I can certainly vouch for these kits. They have been the most popular drum kit that we've had in the shop for some time. So if you'd like to try either the TD11K or the TD11KV, come on down to Icon Music. We have kits set up on the shop floor, and you can give them a good workout.